Interstate 77, southbound. Alright, today we're talking about southbound I-77. It is a beautiful road going through much of the Appalachian Mountains, just like we did in northbound. Looks really cool, really want to do it one day. Alright, I-77 begins in Cleveland, Ohio, and works its way down to Columbia, South Carolina. It basically is there to traverse the Appalachian Mountains and get you a shortcut from Cleveland to Charlotte, or as I know it, the Baker Mayfield Highway. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about interstate highways and the places that they are signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, go ahead and please give us a like, and if you really like it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button or the bells or all that stuff. Okay, today we are going to talk about southbound I-77. I-77 begins here with a junction with I-90. You can only get on it from westbound I-90, and it is signed South Akron. We see 71 South Columbus is signed shortly as well, so we do know about I-71 before we get on 77. Good signage. Going south on 77, we do get 490 to 71, although you could have gotten on 71 by just staying on 90 before. And we remain on 77 South Akron with 480 signed for Youngstown and Toledo. Not much in the way of mileage signs out here. We just get Akron 24. It's not too far away. And we meet the Ohio Turnpike, and just like northbound, we get an overhead sign. Amazing. We usually don't get that on the Ohio Turnpike for some reason. 77 South Akron still. Now we meet 271. It is signed 271 South Columbus, which is the right choice, and North 271 to Richfield. They're not signing it to Erie because if you were going to Erie, you would have stayed on I-90 to begin with. You wouldn't loop back on 271. So signing it for a relatively famous suburb where the Cavs used to play, I think is the right way to go there. Now in the Akron area, we are meeting I-76, so we get West 76 for Canton and East 76, 77 for Akron. So we're getting the 76 for Canton because that's the loop around Akron. If we want to go downtown Akron, we go 77, 76. Now close to downtown Akron, we get South 77 Canton and 76 East Youngstown. We do meet 277 signed for Barberton, which is fine for a 3-digit road, but shouldn't be 76 Barberton for sure. And in Canton, we get the downtown-ish Canton exit, and already we get South 77 Marietta, which I don't like at all. Yeah, oldest city in Ohio, but it has one exit, and I don't think that many people are going there. It should be, I'd be okay with Charlotte, to be honest with you, but probably Charleston. In Canton, I was hoping I'd be able to get a picture of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I didn't realize it was this close to I-77. That's awesome. And we do continue, of course, with this 77 South Marietta thing. Marietta is the bottom line for all these exits we will pass and all these mileage signs. At random interchanges, it is also Marietta, and we see they stick with the bit. Here we meet I-70, and we're signed 77 Marietta still, and 70 West Columbus, East Wheeling. And here we are at our one exit for Marietta. Why it's signed for that whole way, and then it won't be signed anymore after the one exit. In Marietta, you get 77 South Parkersburg, which isn't too far away. I really think they should just go straight to Charleston. And we cross the Ohio River, and we come into West Virginia. West Virginia, right away, we are on 77 South Parkersburg. And we saw this the other way. We see US 50 downtown. No city name given, because why would you need it? Finally, after that, we finally get 77 South Charleston, so that's good to see. Just like northbound, absolutely beautiful highway going south through West Virginia on I-77. Here we meet I-79, which is signed North Clarksburg, and we're on 264 77 Charleston. Definitely don't like that Clarksburg at all. It should be Morgantown, 100%. And here we are in Charleston, 64 west for Huntington, 64 east, 77 south for Beckley. I'm actually okay with Beckley on this one because that's where these two roads actually diverge. Here's a look at downtown Charleston because these roads go kind of right through the center of it. Here's a mileage sign where we get Beckley 50 and then the maybe Control City after that, Bluefield at 93. Okay. Gorgeous scenery on this road though. Just wonderful. Here we get our first stop ahead pay toll after leaving Charleston, and it's $4.25. As we learned in the first video, driving this whole turnpike is going to set you back $12.50, a hefty sum for these sorts of toll roads, it feels like. Right now we get East 64, South 77, Bluefield, and Lewisburg. Those are just atrociously bad control cities there, I would have to say. This should be, I don't know, maybe Wytheville or maybe Charlotte, and then Richmond. We saw this on the I-64 video. We're coming up to Tamarack, and here's a look at the actual building. I showed you the building in the I-64 video, but now we'll see it from the interstate. Here is our split for Bluefield and Lewisburg, two of the probably smallest control cities on two-digit interstates for overhead signs, really anywhere, I'd imagine. We do get Wytheville on the bottom line, so that's better to see because at least we're meeting I-81 there, so something is happening. Alright, lots of beautiful scenery still, very green, very lush, looks nice. At random interchanges, it is Beckley northbound and Bluefield southbound. We're nearing the end of West Virginia, and we get a 77 South pull-through sign with no control city listed. Kinda weird, there's definitely room for one. And just like in Ohio, we get our exit 1, the one exit for Bluefield, that you still have to drive a little ways to get to Bluefield, right here. Now we will go to a new state. And we are signed 77 South Wytheville, VA, because we're not quite in Virginia yet, but we will be after we pass through that tunnel up ahead. Here is a look at it up close, the East River Tunnel. Looks pretty awesome. On the other side of the tunnel, we get a Welcome to Virginia sign. And in Virginia, Wytheville is what is signed at interchanges. Now we're getting Wytheville and Bristol on there because of the I-81 split. I really think if you're gonna sign I-81 for something, should go with Knoxville. Knoxville, much bigger draw than Bristol. Now we get South 77 Charlotte and 81 Roanoke, so that's pretty good. South 81 for Bristol. Again, like I said in the first video, Bristol, Tennessee, and Virginia are both signing them because there's a small town called Bristol on both sides of the border, so they both can be signing in-state places. I really think it should just be Knoxville here, absolutely. Here's a look at our wrong way concurrency. So South 77, North 81, North 11, South 52. Here on 7781, here is a mileage sign, so we get Roanoke and Charlotte both on that sign. So good job, Virginia. And here's our split, North 81 Roanoke, South 77 Charlotte. And we see Statesville on the second line, Charlotte on the third line, the way it should be. Well done. All right, welcome to North Carolina. We are passing into there. I wonder if they'll keep the Charlotte control city here. And I-74 spawns out of the ether like a Contra enemy, as I mentioned before. We have our split with I-74. I-74 signed for Mount Airy and Winston-Salem. 77 for Statesville and not Charlotte. Why, North Carolina? Why? Charlotte's not that much farther than Statesville, and nobody's going to Statesville. People want to go east on 40. They're going to get on 74 right here to go to Winston-Salem. And at random interchanges, we get Statesville and Fort Chiswell, which is where 77 and 81 meet on the other side. So weird they signed that instead of Wytheville. And a little further south, we get north on 77 would be Mount Airy, south would be Statesville. So horrible sign here, but I don't want to only dunk on North Carolina. Here is a sign of awesomeness in North Carolina. We got this Bojangles here. Those are delicious. We do get Charlotte on the mileage sign finally, when there's not really anything else to sign between where you are and Statesville. A lot of construction happening at this 40 and 77 interchange, so right now things look a little weird, and even going back a couple years. Right now we just have this side of the road sign, no overhead sign for 40 Asheville and obviously Winston-Salem. And because we don't have a pull-through sign on 77 itself, I got onto I-40 and we say we are South 77 Charlotte. Finally, there's a nice lake we pass right by Charlotte, and we are meeting 485, 285 for Pineville and Matthews. So again, find a sign in the suburbs when you're doing a 3-digit interstate. Now we meet I-85 again, and interestingly at I-85, we're in Charlotte at this point, I think, but we are still signed 77 South Charlotte because we have not yet reached downtown. I think this is the way to go. And here we see a little bit of Charlotte skyline going southbound on 77. Like I said, it was hard to see on northbound. And we get 277, the Brookshire Freeway, which has no control cities, but we're going to take it anyway. So here we are on 277. We get a much better view of the Charlotte skyline here on 277. And as I said, we don't get any control cities. We just get the name of it, John Belk Freeway, inner 277, and then the other lanes would be outer. And we pass by the Panthers Stadium. It is very close to 277. And on 277, coming back to 77, we now get South 77 Columbia, which is definitely the right choice. And we see when we meet 485 that it is 77 Columbia there as well. So very sensible, but there's only a couple more. In fact, right here, there's only one more mile of North Carolina, so they can't possibly throw in a random suburb or something. Welcome to South Carolina. I've been to 48 states personally. South Carolina is actually the most recent new addition to that. Here is me right at the I-77 rest area crossing into South Carolina. Now we've got Columbia 64. And at exits on I-77 in South Carolina, the ramps are always signed for Charlotte and Columbia. As well they should be. And now we're meeting 277 for Columbia, and 220 West Augusta, and 220 East Florence, and 77 Charleston goes straight. So we're now on 77 South Charleston, and I think that's the right pick since 277 is the way to get into downtown Columbia from here. Here's where we actually meet I-20, but we do not get a pull-through sign for I-77. And now 77 is going to end at 26, so we see Charleston East, Spartanburg West, and 26 East is also to I-95, which is the exact way that I took the one time I drove in South Carolina. Here is the final split, with traffic probably favored going toward east because you are angling that way toward 95, and that will end I-77. It has no end sign at either side. So let's take a look at odds the way it should be for southbound I-77. Southbound I-77 I think has a little more moving parts than northbound I-77 control city wise. Southbound I would sign Akron as they do, then Canton, then Charleston, West Virginia, then Beckley, because that's where 77 and 64 split, then Wytheville, then Winston-Salem and Charlotte, because there is that 74 split, and that's the fastest way to Winston-Salem from that area. So from the Wytheville split, I would actually sign Winston-Salem and Charlotte, and then only Charlotte after that split, then Columbia as they do, and then Charleston as they do. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. I really appreciate it, and I will be back with more content on control cities and nerdy stuff like that soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Todd, and keep on trucking.